This is Citizen Weekend with Olive Ballows.
A very good evening to you. You're right on time for Citizen Weekend. And tonight, we sit down with the Cabinet Secretary for National Treasury and Economic Planning, John Mbadi. And among the things he will be discussing and we will be questioning him on tonight is the Eurobond, as well as the capacity building on the county integrated development plans, which is set to kick off next week on Tuesday officially, but begins tomorrow. We'll also ask him questions on the demands on Treasury from the Education Ministry as well as the health sector. And we'll get his views, share yours. The X handles are at @OBarrows at Citizen TV Kenya. The hashtag is Citizen Weekend and the SMS line is 22422. Let's take a look at the highlights. Tracking stolen Shah billions. 5 people arrested, 2 medical facilities in the crosshairs as Director of Public Prosecutions orders arrest of Shah fraudsters.
There's no way county government will expect doctors to be at work when their salaries are not paid.
KMPDU threatens nationwide strike over health crisis in Kiambu County, where doctors remain on strike.
We will do whatever it takes to hold the united opposition together. So that because that is where the future and that's where the hope of Kenyans is. And so we must also say to my colleagues, kila mtu sasa ajihisi inchi ni kubwa kushinda yeye binafsi.
Armed masked men in police uniform and some in plain clothes.
A vehicle came, a van, that had men who were in uniform and others were not in uniform. Others were armed.
Kenyan, who accompanied Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyo, narrates abduction ordeal. We're joined by none other than Yulan Zale as our sign language interpreter. Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyo were likely seized by Ugandan security forces, leading to their disappearance since Wednesday, the 1st of this month. A friend who was with the duo, Kofi Atinda, told Citizen TV that the duo was set to meet Ugandan opposition leader Bobi Wine, having tagged along for his campaigns when the abduction happened. Citizen TV's O'Day Francis had a chance with Atinda, who arrived from Uganda today, having barely escaped abduction due to confusion during Njagi and Oyo's arrest.
Kofi Atinda arrived in Nairobi via Jinja, Uganda, after surviving an attempted abduction in the neighboring country. His colleagues, Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyo, were not as fortunate. He recounts what happened in Uganda.
Before we went to Kampala, we went through Jinja. We slept in Jinja for 2 days. And then from there, we were actually invited for a private meeting with Bobi Wine. So the day we were to meet him is when Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyo, for the Free Kenya Movement Secretary General, that's when we lost them.
According to Atinda, the abductors wore distinctive uniform, were masked to conceal identity, and appeared to be police or other national security officials. They struck soon after they had taken lunch.
A vehicle came, a van, that had men who were in uniform and others were not in uniform. Others were armed, and there was a woman, one. And then they took Bob and also SG and I myself.
His escape, he says, was made possible by a car he had left unlocked after lunch.
They had left me first of all, and then there's a lady who was just pointing at me, and then even that one. So a man came and then grabbed my back and then pushed me to the car.
The families of Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyo are expected to release a statement on Monday regarding their situation.
They were not able to help me because they even suspected me. They thought maybe I'm a bad person, maybe I'm a criminal, so they couldn't want to help me, but they saw everything going on. So as time went, it's when they started now asking what's going on. Like everyone was afraid of me. I've not received any help or any call from any embassy in Uganda nor Kenya.
The search for Njagi and Oyo continues as questions mount over just what role the government is supposed to play in their repatriation to the country.
We were not sending some of us to Uganda to commit crime, but to learn how organized movements can be and take over power.
Ode Francis, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
A Vihiga health facility that claimed 4.9 million shillings instead of its rightful 18,000 is at the center of a multi-million shilling healthcare fraud probe that has already seen 5 suspects arrested. Another clinic in Kilifi allegedly lodged a 2 million shillings claim in a fake claim that allegedly defrauded the taxpayer more than 10 billion shillings in totality. Citizen TV's Ben Kirui kicks off this segment of the bulletin.
A month after the Ministry of Health submitted 1,188 suspected fraud files to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations DCI, detectives have arrested 5 individuals linked to a multi-million shilling scandal at the Social Health Authority SHA involving ghost facilities. More suspects are on the run as investigations gain pace. The arrest follows approval by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions ODPP, which authorized the charges against several individuals and health facilities at the center of the scheme. In Vihiga County, St. Mark's Orthodox Healthcare Limited pocketed 4.9 million shillings from SHA, despite its legitimate claim being only 18,000 shillings. The facility, operated by directors D'Souza Finley and Mark Dillon, now faces charges of conspiracy to defraud, falsification of health records, acquisition of proceeds of crime, and cheating. The directors themselves will also be facing charges. In Kilifi, Jambo Jipya Medical Clinic is accused of lodging fraudulent claims worth 2.03 million shillings. Its directors Patrick Muyu Kanya and Faith Chepkurui face charges of conspiracy, fraudulent alteration of information, cheating, and use of crime proceeds. Employees Stephen Okinyo Juang, Justin Baraka Glenn, Maina Masharia, Pauline Wanjiru and Nadia Mbeyu have been implicated in forgery, knowingly making false statements and uttering forged documents. Among those charged is Sami Otieno, an employee of SHA accused of conspiracy to defraud and to commit a felony. The 5 suspects already in custody are expected in court on Monday next week in what investigators describe as one of the country's largest healthcare fraud crackdowns, running into billions of shillings in losses to taxpayers. Ben Kirui, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Staying with matters health, the standoff between the Kiambu County government and doctors is escalating, with the strike now entering day 128. The Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, KMPDU, is calling for the dissolution of the Kiambu County government, accusing Governor Kimani Wamatangi of arrogance and negligence of the healthcare sector and its workers. As you'll hear now from Emily Chebet, the governor has dismissed the union's claims of rising deaths during the strike, insisting that services in Kiambu hospitals remain uninterrupted.
For more than 4 months, hospitals across Kiambu County have operated under tension as doctors' strike stretches into its 128th day.
Newborns in their hundreds have been denied a chance to feel the warmth of their mother's love. Mothers denied a chance to celebrate the joy of motherhood. Families' tears of joy replaced by tears of pain and anguish, with no end in sight. And what is the response of the county government mandarins? They are busy disputing figures.
The Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union claims 63 newborns have died at the Kiambu Level 5 hospital, and a total of 136 neonatal deaths have occurred since the strike began.
How many more should die for you to feel the pain of your people and wake up and act Those numbers are not just figures. They represent empty chairs in the dining table, empty baby coats and unused diapers bought in anticipation of impending arrival of a new member of a family.
136 is not just a number. It is far much greater magnitude than what we witnessed in Garissa.
The medics accuse the county government of failing to implement a previous agreement on pay, promotions and medical cover.
What's happening in Kiambu is not a healthcare crisis. It is a governance crisis. It is a leadership crisis. It is a crisis of democracy. We are seeing an authoritarian leadership.
There's no way county government will expect doctors to be at work when their salaries are not paid, when their healthcare is not catered for, when the salary deductions are deducted but are not remitted to the institution that they should be.
Kiambu Governor Kimani Wamatangi has dismissed the allegations, saying they are false, exaggerated and politically motivated. His office insisting there is no health crisis in Kiambu.
Sisi tunasimama kindete, hatuongei na mtu hata kidogo, vile wametuwekea uongo yote, waende kotini wamalize mambo kotini, na nataka kuhakikishia watu wa Kiambu hospitali zetu zote zinafanya kazi.
We have the services that you require. Na asante Governor kwa sababu uliajiri madaktari wengine ambao wakati hao walienda mgomo kuna madaktari ulileta.
Mambo ya Kiambu hayaongelewi kwa hizo ofisi zenye watu wanaenda kupanga watu kupeana pesa ati ndio hadithi zitolewe za uongo. Mambo ya Kiambu inafanywa hapa kwa wananchi.
Friday, a section of Kiambu residents staged protest against alleged newborn deaths in various hospitals within the county due to the ongoing stalemate. KMPDU has threatened a nationwide doctors' strike in solidarity with doctors in Kiambu and has called for intervention by the president. Emily Chebet, Citizen TV.
And staying with matters industrial action, this time by university lecturers, which entered day 25 today. Tonight, we'll look at how the same script has played out year on year. A chronology of unresolved issues around previous collective bargaining agreements that have only acted as a catalyst to the current strike, with the fate of thousands of learners in limbo. Safin Acheng Oma puts the incessant university strikes into context.
Learning in most public universities in Kenya remains paralyzed for nearly a month since lecturers began their strike, demanding payment of an outstanding 7.9 billion shillings they claim is owed to them from the 2017-2021 collective bargaining agreement and immediate negotiation of the 2025-2029 CBA. This being their third major strike in less than a year, birthed from a cobweb of unresolved issues dating back from 2019, when the university's academic staff union and the Inter-Public Universities Council's Consultative Forum signed the 2017-2021 CBA. The parties, however, differed on the cost of the CBA.
From the word go, they insisted that the cost of this CBA was 8.8 billion. And we proved them wrong in court. And we arrived at the conclusion that the cost of the CBA was 16.5 billion.
Even before the issue was resolved, on 18th of September 2024, lecturers downed their tools. This time, they demanded negotiation of the 2021-2025 CBA. The strike was called off after 9 days to allow an interministerial committee to steer the negotiation. But the parties would again disagree on the cost of the CBA, with WASU demanding 9.7 billion shillings against IPUCCF's 4.3 billion shillings, an issue that led to another strike that lasted 26 days. The government convinced the Dons to resume work on 23rd of November 2024 after it committed to pay the money in 3 tranches between 2024 and July 2026.
2.73 billion for the financial year 2025-2026. This tranche has also been disbursed between the months of July and September 2025.
The recent release of 2.7 billion shillings by the government for the 2021-2025 CBA barely made a dent in the Dons' demands, as they now want full payment of 7.9 billion shillings arrears for the 2017-2021 cycle before they resume classes. SRC claims that 7.2 billion shillings demanded by the unions was already paid through normal annual salary increments, leaving only 624 million shillings owed.
Let them bring that SRC to tell us how they arrived at this 624 million. And the ministry reading these statements, let them come. Bwana, I have my data here with me, with each and every name and PF number, how they were paid, and what they are still owed.
This difference in interpretation is the matter that ought to be resolved amicably and through objective discussions.
The question for now remains, who bears the blame for the incessant strikes in public universities? Safin Achieng Oma, Citizen TV.
Thousands of Catholic faithful across the nation gathered for national prayers at the Subukia Shrine in Nakuru. The clarion call was on uniting under the theme of peace, unity and reconciliation as the country prepares for the 2027 general election. Marianne Nyambura has more.
In their numbers, Catholic faithful turned up for the annual National Prayer Day at the Subukia Shrine in Nakuru. The Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops emphasized the church's mission of renewing the nation through faith and dialogue. Embu Archdiocese Bishop Peter Kimani urged the faithful to remain steadfast in prayer.
We must plant the seeds of hope where hopelessness, anxiety and fear of exclusion is taking root. We must build a country where even our investors, wawekezaji, they have an environment where they can create jobs, especially for our youth, and not have punitive taxes.
In a historic step, the Catholic Church appointed Bishop Henry Juma Odonya as the chair of the newly formed KCCB Youth Commission, a role that entrusts him with guiding and empowering young people in matters of faith, civic responsibility and national unity.
The saints speak attentively to the youth and all of us about the digital age challenges and opportunities, addressing social media's impact on identity, online chastity, mental health, and digital evangelization. These young saints remain for us icons and protagonists of change in the pilgrim church.
Marianne Nyambura, Citizen TV.
In Nyeri County, a group of 10 youth has embarked on a mission to drive voter registration upwards, moving street to street and visiting places of work to sensitize their peers not only on why they need to register, but also how to vote after the county recorded only 30 new voters since the exercise began earlier this week, and that is according to the IEBC. As we'll hear now from Kamau Mwangi, the electoral body recorded 7,048 new voters in its first week of the exercise.
Converging early in Nyeri town, this group of 10 has set its eyes on one mission: raising the number of youthful registered voters after the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission highlighted that the county had in 4 days since the continuous voter registration exercise began recorded only 30 new entrants into the voters register. They move from person to person, group to group and to places frequented by young people, engaging their counterparts on the need to register as voters this early, reminding them that the clamor for good governance that they sought for last year will only come at the ballot in 2027.
Yes, we did what we did in 2024 and it started something. At least people now are interested in the accountability and making sure that the leaders are accountable. So we want to make sure that leaders, the young people know that we're the majority. Please register to vote. And also in 2027, come out and vote.
And seeing that most of them will be voting for the first time if they heed this call to enroll as voters, this group, led by 27-year-old Monica Wangombe, a two-time voter, also seeks to show them how to vote and ensure that their vote counts.
Unapata mtu kama pale kwa ballot, juu hataki a certain leader ingie, unaenda unaweka X, hapo ushapea mtu hiyo kura. Ama unaenda unatik, hapo kwa huyo mtu unataka, au wengine unawekea X. Let's say that's a rejected, hiyo ni kura imepotea.
Inafanya youth wakose kujitokeza kwenye hii voter registration ni awareness. Many of them are not yet aware hii process ya registration imeanza.
According to data from the IEBC, Nyeri is among counties that registered the lowest number of new voters alongside Lamu, Nyamira, Tana River and Tharaka Nithi.
Kama unaandamana na huna kula, hiyo haitakusaidia. Utashinda kwa barabara ukipiga makelele na utakuta wewe ndio unaumia, serikali haiumii. Kura ndio itakusaidia shida yako, utaenda kutatua shida yako kupitia kura yako.
The electoral body in a statement said by close of business Thursday, a total of 7,048 Kenyans had been onboarded into the voters' roll, with Nairobi County leading in new registrations at 1,597, followed by Mombasa at 556, with Kiambu County coming in at a distant third with 386 new entrants. And as the exercise enters its second week on Monday, calls to have the registration exercise decentralized further continue to grow. 256 Kenyans also moved their votes to their preferred locations during the first week. Kamau Mwangi, Citizen TV.
President William Ruto says the Social Health Authority is fulfilling its objective of providing essential universal health care to all Kenyans despite experiencing challenges such as fraud. Speaking during the centenary celebrations of the Pentecostal Assemblies of God in Vihiga County, the head of state said his cooperation with former Prime Minister Raila Odinga should not be taken for granted as it has stabilized the country. Seth Olale has more.
The debate on the performance and objectivity of the universal healthcare under the Social Health Authority took center stage during the centenary celebrations of the Pentecostal Assembly of God, PAG, in Vihiga County. President Ruto saying the multi-billion shilling healthcare scheme is effective compared to the defunct NHIF, despite the setbacks being experienced in its implementation.
Lakini ukweli ni kwamba isha iko na matatizo. Na wizi pia umeingia ndani. Rais, mimi najua wewe ni mtu wa nguvu. Help us resolve this problem.
Bado tuko na mahospitali ambayo wanadai wananchi pesa. And I want to put them on notice. Any facility that charges citizens for a service already paid for by the government of Kenya, they are in for trouble because tayari tumeweka pesa ya kutosha.
In urging leaders from Western Kenya to assist him in his development agenda through uniting all citizens and delivering on the government's promises in order to foster unity and prosperity, the head of state cautioned Kenyans against taking for granted the current peace in the country.
Na waomba hasa hawa viongozi wenzangu, shida hapana wananchi hawa, shida ni sisi. If Kenya does not make progress, we are squarely responsible.
Kujaribu kuweka kila mtu pamoja ni jambo la muhimu sana, na ndio kwa sababu tunasema tuungane, tufanye kazi pamoja.
We are in government, and that's where we are, and we support you for what you are doing. And we will work with you up to the end.
The president saying his administration will take development to the people of Western Kenya in the form of roads construction, affordable housing and markets. Seth Olale, Citizen TV.
Wiper Patriotic Front leader Kalonzo Musyoka now says the opposition will not allow President William Ruto to privatize the Kenya Pipeline Corporation, saying they will be moving to court. While speaking in Makueni on Saturday, he maintained that he is in the best position to fly the opposition flag and ready to unseat President Ruto come 2027, owing to his experience. Crispin Otieno has more.
Days after reports emerged over disquiet in the united opposition leaders, Wiper Patriotic Front leader Kalonzo Musyoka and a host of leaders were in Makueni during the funeral ceremony of Mzee Philip Muteti Ndolo in Ulu Village, Kilome in Makueni County. Wiper leaders used the platform promising that the united opposition will hold together.
We will do whatever it takes to hold the united opposition together. So that because that is where the future and that's where the hope of Kenyans is. And so we must also say to my colleagues, kila mtu sasa ajihisi inchi ni kubwa kushinda yeye binafsi. Mimi kwa upande wangu nimejaribu hata kufanyishwa interview na Raila. Sasa Kenya ipone na watoto wapone. Kila kitu kimeenda kombo, elimu ni kombo. Mambo ya afya ndio hiyo kombo zaidi.
The only thing we want ni moja tu. The other principles. Sisi kazi yetu ni kuangalilia hivi. Mmoja akienda hivi tunawarudisha mkae pamoja. Kwa sababu lazima muokoe hii nchi 2027. Watu wameumia sana.
Kalonzo took a swipe at Kenya Kwanza administration on privatization of Kenya Pipeline Corporation.
Starbucks ni nani? Kweli? Kwa hivyo ndio sababu wengine wanatoa mafuta Mombasa, lakini Starbucks wanatoa hapa Ulu. And leaders, call it out. Maybe this is the reason William Ruto ameona abinafsishe, privatize Kenya Pipeline Corporation, ambayo tunapinga kabisa.
Ruto ameuza pipeline. Ama ananunua yeye mwenyewe. Hii inapita hapa, hii ni mali ya wananchi, ni mali ya Wakenya, imeletwa bunge, ikafanywa ukarabati pale, bunge ikahongwa, pipeline lakini tutaenda kotini. Tuwezi wachia yeye namna hiyo. Hakuna kitu hapo imenunuliwa, hii ni mali ya wananchi.
Kalonzo added that come 10th October, they will convene a national delegates conference in Nairobi for a major pronouncement.
Tuko nini? Tuko tayari kabisa kuleta president wa sita ambaye atakuwa His Excellency Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, na ninajua wale principals wengine wote wako pamoja na yeye na wako nyuma yake kabisa.
The leaders called upon the youthful populace to get out in their numbers to register as voters to actualize changes they have been yearning for at the ballot come 2027 polls. Crispino, TNO Citizen TV.
All right, to take a break on Citizen Weekend, but we will be back as promised with the National Treasury and Economic Planning Cabinet Secretary. Among the issues we'll be asking him to weigh in on is the Eurobond. We'll ask him, is the country facing a cash crunch or cash crisis on account of the healthcare industrial action by doctors in Kiambu, for example, as well as lecturers who are demanding 7.9 billion shillings. And he'll also be explaining why are they undertaking capacity building for county governments as it relates to CIDPs, the County Integrated Development Plans, and where are they on the standoff with counties where e-procurement is concerned. Stay tuned. Ado Barrows at Citizen TV Kenya, #Citizen Weekend. The SMS line is 22422. Thank you for staying with us on Citizen Weekend. Former General Manager of Royal Media Services, Michael Githai, and his wife, Jane Githai, celebrated their 50-year anniversary in marriage during a colourful ceremony held in Kirinyaga County. Family members, RMS employees, and friends attended the Thanksgiving ceremony held at ACK St. Philip's Baritra Church. And joy, ululations, and laughter filled the air during the commemoration of 5 decades of love and marriage, where the couple reflected on their peaceful and understanding relationship. The highlight of the event was the cutting of the cake, symbolizing the sweetness of their life together. We also wish them continued success and many more years filled with love and happiness. The 13-time champions Tusker FC are eyeing a strong comeback in their FKF Premier League match when they face Shabana FC on Sunday in Nairobi. After a rough start, picking 2 losses against KCB and Posta Rangers and a draw against Mathare United in a mid-week clash, the team is determined to turn things around with renewed energy and belief in camp. Head coach Charles Okere has backed his players, saying they're happy and mentally sharp, ready to approach this game with the seriousness it deserves. Club captain Charles Momanyi added that the squad is highly motivated ahead of the contest.
Hizo game mbili tulikuwa tumefungwa, lakini saa hii hiyo point moja tulipata imetupatia motivation kidogo. Ukiangalia kwa game ya kesho vijana wamesema lazima tutachukua hizo points 3.
Shabana FC is a good side. They have good numbers pushing them off the pitch. Again, this is football. The past results cannot judge the upcoming results. So for us, we believe we have prepared well for this season. The boys are very positive, and we are building something.
Defending Impala floodlit champions, Menengai Oilers will begin their title defense against KCB at the Impala Club in the highlight fixture of the quarter-final fixtures released on Friday evening at an event hosted at the Impala. In other club quarter-final fixtures, hosts Impala will take on Mwamba, with the Kenya Harlequins taking on Black Blood as Nondis face Strathmore, all for a slot in the tournament's semi-finals. In the ladies category, which will feature 4 sides, defending champions Mwamba face Northern Suburbs, with Impala Ruans taking on next-door neighbours Queens in the Ngong Road Derby fixture. There will be a new winner in the university category, with last year's winners, Rift Valley Universities, not featuring this year.
Things are going in well. We have already approached sponsors who showed us a very positive response, which we appreciate. We should be tying up on most of the contracts in the coming week. Some have already committed, and usually the easiest thing is most of the people we usually work with are people who've worked in other Impala floodlight tournaments.
It's not a bad draw. Looking forward to the weekend, which is around 2 weeks from now. It will be a tough tournament, but we expect to do much better than we did last season.
Over 100 athletes from 5 schools competed in various disciplines, showcasing both skill and determination in the one-day athletics championship organized by PIPSA and held at the annex grounds, the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani. 15-year-old John Otido, shown at the event, successfully defended his titles in both the 100 and 200-meter races. Otido noted that his hard work and training are paying off and expressed hope of maintaining his record and advancing to higher levels in the sport. PIPSA is now set to host the national championships starting October the 11th, which will feature a variety of sports, including swimming, soccer, skating, basketball, taekwondo, and chess.
I would like to thank the PIPSA Games and the organizers of this event for this wonderful moment that they've given us. It's a really good association that they've started, and for the races that I've done, I'm grateful for them.
This competition, I found it really, really exciting. I'm waiting to go to the next one. The upcoming events, and the way I trained for this one was by my coach, Jeff, in absentia, and I'm really looking forward to